evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of the Bill Crane Sports Report. I'm ably assisted here tonight by very fine young man, Gary Patterson, who is really showing some skill in this business.
We'll see about that.
The mayor of North Street.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, indeed.
Indeed.
But here in the Snow Belt, we're going to talk
boy.
about the Super Bowl tonight. But before we get involved with the Super Bowl, I've got two baseball questions that I got to ask you, Gary.
Okay.
And I can't figure these out, but I know you're going to set me straight. Two outfielders signed as free agents here in the last couple of weeks.
Right.
One we know very well, Jonny Gomes.
Yes.
Perhaps the worst defensive outfielder in baseball, signed with the Atlanta Braves.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got a vesting option for next year.
Yeah. He's got a good agent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other was Ichiro Suzuki. And he signed with the Miami Marlins.
Yeah.
He had 284 last year and is still a Gold Glove defender. I would put him in the top 15 or 20 outfielders in the American League as far as defense is concerned.
Defensively, yeah.
Yeah, at 284, and he's a shoo-in for the Hall of Fame. Now, one of these guys signed for $4 million, and one signed for $2 million.
Right.
Can you tell me who they are?
Yeah, I think Gomes got the $4 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Explain that to me.
Well, he's got a good agent. Like I told you before, he's got a good agent.
And Ichiro's doesn't speak English.
Right.
Maybe that's
But I think
it.
the perception of Ichiro is that he really is at the end. And he's a slap hitter.
He's 41.
Right. And to think that he'll play every day for you for 160 or 150 games is unrealistic.
No,
right?
it's not. Not realistic at all.
And
But
Gomes is a role player.
But Gomes is a role player.
Going to be an overpaid role player, it sounds like.
Boy, oh boy.
But, you know, his thing is he can still hit lefties. And he's a clubhouse guy.
That's right, yeah.
He's a clubhouse guy.
And you've heard this before, too, many times from different guys. You know, if a fight breaks out on the field, I want Jonny Gomes.
That's right.
He'll have my back, you know. So that's worth $4 million.
Yeah, and I think they were, you know, short of outfielders down there, right? They moved a couple guys. So
They
moved
did,
Upton and
All right, well, you've given me an answer. I'm not sure I quite buy it, but nonetheless.
the answer is if you need an agent, get Gomes' agent.
Right. All right, now here's the other one. The Reds agreed to a one-year deal with former Red Sox right-hander Burke Badenhop.
Yeah.
That guarantees him $2.5 million. Now, this is interesting the way they structured this. But first of all, Badenhop is now 32.
Right.
He was 0-3 with the Sox, with a 2.29 earned run average in 70 relief appearances.
Pitched well.
And he pitched well.
Right.
He came in and he certainly did not allow the fire to restart. He wasn't pouring fuel on the fire. He came in and he held everybody as he found it. You know, no new runs, no cheap runs. I thought he was a hell of a pitcher.
I did too, actually.
Yeah, and I never heard one word about him being a bad guy or anything like that.
Supposedly they wanted to re-sign him.
Yeah,
but it seems like relative short money.
But you know, his contract now is $1 million for this year. And the 2.5 is based on $4 million for next year, which they won't give him, but he gets a $1.5 million buyout.
Yeah.
And that's guaranteed. So, in effect, nobody expects him to get the $4 million next year, so he's going to get the buyout. So it's going to be a 2.5. You mean to tell me the Red Sox couldn't have afforded that?
Yeah, I think they could if they wanted to. And, you know, a couple factors, though, I think. One is they have other plans for the bullpen, including some of their young guys. And they did re-sign the lefty,
Breslow.
And of course, they've got Koji back.
Yep.
And they've got Tozawa back.
Yep.
And I think they are looking at
And they got
filling the rest
Mojica
with the
back.
young. And Mojica's back, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But now Mojica was due 4.5.
Right. And there was some talk
and
they were interested in moving
He
him.
may, yeah, either
Yeah.
that or they'll buy him out,
Right.
and he'll boogie off.
But the other factor, I think, is the history of relief pitchers. of the
1
past
year
few years.
good,
1 year
next
good,
year
1
we'll
year
leg out.
bad.
Yeah.
1 year good, 1 year bad. And-
You know, he doesn't have overpowering stuff.
right.
You know, 70 games around the league. Maybe next year is when they catch up to him and bat him around a little bit so he goes over the National League.
Right.
But here's something interesting, though, is he's been with Florida, Tampa Bay, Milwaukee, the Red Sox, and now he's gone to the Reds. He doesn't stay in one place any too
that
long.
sometimes raises the antenna a little bit
Yeah,
right there, yeah.
kind of wonder. But I just think the Red Sox missed a good bet here.
I thought he was coming back, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and I would much rather
Because it
have
wasn't big money, right?
chump change.
By the time they move whatever outfielder they're going to move, because they have to move one or two,
Yep.
they can more than pay for that, right?
All right, my friend.
Yes.
That's enough baseball nonsense. Let's get down to the meat and potatoes here. The Super Bowl.
Yeah, heck of a game.
Most exciting Super Bowl I remember.
Yeah, I would say so. Certainly, given our rooting interest, absolutely.
Yeah, it had everything.
Yeah.
That unbelievable catch Chris made, where he bounced the ball up and down a couple, three,
Right.
once by accident, and once on purpose, kind of, and made the catch laying flat in his back. I mean, that was just unreal. And then have Malcolm Butler step up.
Yeah, out of nowhere.
And, you know, that was a fantastic play by Butler. He wanted the ball more than Lockhart. And boy, he stepped in, made a very physical play, and give him A for desire and A for technique.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And now, here's the funny part about it.
And it was actually the last of a series of good plays by that kid.
It was.
He made a number of plays down in the second half after he got in. Yeah.
Well, he was involved in that bounce around with Chris.
Right.
Yeah, I mean.
Right. And then he had he had one breakup over the middle, or he came around the guy with the left hand. That was just textbook.
He's on the smallish side.
Yeah.
But he certainly appears to have a real high football IQ.
Yeah, he's a player.
Yeah, he's a player.
Yeah.
And here's the interesting thing. Tom gives him a pickup truck.
Yeah.
He's got instant fame here for a while. And he's going to have to play his butt off to make the team next year.
Yeah.
Because
I think he will, though.
I think so. I think but Belichick is going to improve on every facet of the team every year if he can do it.
If he can.
Yeah. So
I wonder if Arrington will be back, though, but that's a whole other subject.
another story for another day, but I hope he's back. I thought he played well.
Over during the season, he did.
Yeah.
He had a rough day during the Super Bowl.
Yeah. He did. You're absolutely right. I don't think your friend Alfonso Denard will be back.
Probably
Dennard.
not. Yeah, Dennard, yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like he fell out of
No,
grace.
he fell out of favor and couldn't get in the lineup. And plus all that nonsense going on back home out there.
He's had his issues.
Yeah, he really has had his issues. And I think, you know, Belichick takes these guys, though, and works with them, kicks their butt, gets them straightened out. I wonder if he's been kicking Dennard's butt but hasn't straightened him out. Because usually when something like that happens, they don't stick around too long.
Yeah, there was some talk he might have an injury issue. Of course, you never know down there, right?
You never know because they don't talk about it. Yeah.
But he'll be in camp.
All right. Tom Brady.
Yeah.
The greatest quarterback of all times?
He is in my book.
Yeah. I don't know. I looked at early films of Sammy Baugh.
Sammy Baugh.
He did wonderful things.
I'm sure he did.
He was accurate. He could throw the ball long. He could run the ball. And he played in the secondary on defense.
Yeah.
And he punted. I mean, except for bringing out the water bottles, I mean, he did it all.
Did he deflate footballs? No?
We must talk about that. But Otto Graham was great, too. Now, I remember Otto Graham. That was my earliest real memory of watching a super quarterback on television. I saw Sammy Barr on TV a couple of times, too, but he was at the end of his career. But you look at the stuff in the early 40s.
Yeah, I can't tell you. The first one I actually remember, I wouldn't say he was great, but he was interesting, was Y.A. Tittle.
Absolutely.
Great, I don't know, but good.
He was very good.
Yeah.
And now modern day quarterbacks, if not Brady, then who?
Yeah.
Joe Montana? Peyton Manning, and I've always liked Dan Marino.
Yeah. But it takes a bad rap because they never won, right?
Exactly.
Got there once, I think.
Yeah, got there once.
Second year.
But great arm, and he seemed to have, he was a field general.
Yeah.
I thought he was a heck of a quarterback. But talk to me about Peyton in Montana.
Yeah, to me, Montana is the top between those two, certainly. And Peyton, to me, is down the list a little bit. I think he's a great quarterback. I like the guy personally. There's never been any baloney with him, right? He is what he is, and stays out of the tabloids, right? So, but Montana, it's all about winning. It's all about winning, and he got there 4 for 4. Now I don't accept this argument about, well, he's better than Brady because he was 4-0 and Brady's 4-2. I don't accept that at all, because Brady's 4-2 because he won those other games that Montana lost. When he lost, I think 3 times in the NFC Championship game. So, he never got there more than 4. No, he won all 4, and I think he's right up there. And I would have named him number 1 prior to what Brady's achieved, but I got to go with Brady. And I don't think I'm being too much of a homer. Well, maybe a little.
A little bit. I mean, Montana, you know what? I don't think there's much to choose between the two of them.
Right.
And if there is a tiebreaker, Montana was a better scrambler. He could run.
Yeah,
I think
that's true. I think that's true.
After that, there's nothing to separate them, from where I sit anyway.
Yeah.
And by the way, speaking of that, you know who I also thought was a heck of a quarterback? I've never got, the adulation that these other guys get. Steve Young.
Steve Young, yeah.
I loved his game.
Yep.
Boy, he could bring the ball down and run with it, and he was.
He just didn't have that starting role long enough,
Well, and sometimes, a lot of times, this is the guys that are around you too.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I think we need to do. Let me just blitz through these subjects.
Okay.
And we can go back to the ones we like the best. Otherwise,
Good.
we're never going to get to this.
Got it.
Julian Edelman, Danny Amendola, Bill Belichick gets A+ for coaching.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Pete Carroll was outcoached. Rob Gronkowski. The Patriots' defense was outstanding, I thought. Seattle's last 4 possessions yielded no points.
Right.
Of course, it was a gasp at the end there. And I really and truly think that, bottom line, Pete Carroll wanted desperately to outsmart Belichick, and that's why he called that pass play. And he was hoping complete it and be called the genius of genius. He outsmarted Belichick.
Right. Everybody thought he was going to run, and he passed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think Marshawn Lynch appreciated that call either, because now there's stories going around that he's owed $7 million for next year.
Yeah.
And Seattle is saying, we may not pay that.
Yeah. They may not. It's a lot of money for a running back.
Boy.
Running backs.
But boy, oh boy,
he's important to them.
Whoa, is he ever?
But the saying goes, you can get running backs.
That's exactly right, and we're going to we'll touch on that again. Robert Kraft and Tom Brady showed great class after the game, facing questions not about the game, but about the deflated football.
Yeah.
That Michelle Tavoya there, whatever the heck her name is, you know, she asked 2 questions about that
Yeah, I know it.
up on the podium at the celebration of the Super Bowl champions.
I know.
Totally out. Her handlers should be taken out and electrocuted.
Yeah, she's terrible.
And she should be sent to right to an insane asylum.
And she should take Troy Aikman with her.
Yeah. Oh.
With his comments that Deflategate was worse
Yeah.
than the Bountygate. Are you kidding me? Worse than intentionally trying to injure players. Worse than paying your players.
Troy Aikman is only bettered in the worst sense by Phil Simms.
Yeah.
Phil Simms, how would you explain to me how he's the #1 commentator for
I don't
that
think
one?
he will be for long.
Oh,
actually.
mother of God.
Yeah.
Chris Collingsworth, Roger Goodell, Russell Wilson, the halftime show with Katy Perry, and then, yeah. So maybe we can just kind of, now with that established, we can kind of blitz through a couple of
Let's
these.
blitz.
Yeah. Julian Edelman. Yards after the catch make him a very dangerous receiver. He's a great clutch receiver. And he's a world-class kick returner.
Yeah, he does it all.
He's the whole package.
And he is as tough as they come.
Yep. Wes, who?
Right.
Yeah.
I just hope he doesn't end up like Wes Welker,
Yeah.
because he very well could.
Yeah, and Wes Welker, now the story is that he's probably, well, not probably, but he may retire.
And I hope he does.
And I hope he does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. He was a great player for a good many years, but boy, he took a lot of punishment.
Yeah.
And boy, I'll tell you, Edelman takes punishment too.
Yeah. Welker will unfortunately retire 0 for 3 in Super Bowl. So
Yeah.
that's.
He had just caught that one.
Yeah.
That was a catchable ball.
It certainly was.
What now? It wasn't an easy catch, but it was a catchable ball.
Edelman would have caught that ball.
Yes. You know, that's another thing. You know, and I wish to hell I could remember who said it, but when they were talking about the deflated footballs, oh, Jerry Rice, he said, I played my whole career with stickum on my gloves.
More than it was allowed, yeah.
He said, how do you suppose these guys make these one-handed catches in the league? Do you think the league will have the wherewithal, the guts to say no more stickum on the gloves and make it stick? Either that or say no gloves.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they'll go to the
I don't think
gloves.
they have. I don't think they have the guts to do it.
And I think, stickum is technically illegal now, but they do
Yeah.
use stuff
Yeah.
now. That,
Yeah.
they got such a long list of problems. I think that's going to be down the bottom somewhere. But
Yeah, it'll get lost. But boy,
Yeah.
they should address that.
yeah, they should.
Danny Amendola. Under Bill Belichick, Danny has morphed into a complete player. Good receiver, good kick returner, great team player. Has worked hard to learn how to play winning football. Proof of what a great coach produces.
Yeah. A couple things with him, though. One, he's to a degree redundant to Edelman. He's due to make, I think, 4.5 next year, so he is going to have to restructure his contract. I don't see them bringing him back on that
I think you're
contract.
right. And
I could see him actually being cut.
I can see him going to another club.
I could too.
Yeah, I can see him saying, no, but just cut me loose.
Cut me. Yeah.
Yeah, and I can see him ending up on a team that has a wide receiver problem, and
Yeah.
but that would be dumb on his part.
Yeah. He needs to restructure that contract and
That's
stay
right.
here. I
And-
hope he stays
yeah,
here.
Me too, because he's found a coach that's got
Yeah.
him squared away.
He's good depth on
Yeah,
the team.
good depth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bill Belichick gets A+ for coaching. How
Yeah.
can you not say he's the best coach in the league? I mean, I love watching the football games every Sunday.
Right.
Or Thursday night, or whatever, whenever the Patriots are playing. And I've never, ever seen a team be able to change their game plan at halftime
Right.
and come out with a whole different set of plays or different nuances, because this guy his mind is going a million miles an hour. He goes in there, says, okay, well, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah. I don't think there's any question he's the best, because look at who he was being compared with to be the best. Pete Carroll. Yeah. I rest my case.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely
Mike McCarthy
right. Yeah.
in Green Bay.
Yeah.
Look, they just totally choked that game away against Seattle. We should have been playing them in the Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
Right?
You're absolutely right.
So those are often the two guys you hear him compared to.
Yeah,
And then you watch the way he coached that Super Bowl over on the sidelines, on the knee. I don't know if you've seen any of the soundbite shows. Because
No.
he was wired for that game.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Very interested. I mean, really coaching. At one point, he had the offensive line together, and it was, I think, early in the fourth quarter, and he told them, look, they're holding you. They've been holding you all day. They haven't called a single holding penalty. And he was telling them how they got to punch the hands away, because they're not going to call you for it. Anything goes. And he is just on top of everything.
I don't see how one guy could fit all that in his head, but he does.
It's who he is.
Yeah, it's who he is.
It's his
he
life.
He has no other life.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I don't think people say, oh, he's going to retire. I don't think he has any plans on retirement.
No.
That is his life.
No plans at all.
And he's darn good at it.
Yeah. Gronkowski, strong game by the top tight end in football.
Yeah.
If he can ever stay injury-free, I'm talking about debilitating injuries, he'll rewrite that record book.
Yeah, he's the man.
As long as Brady is there throwing them, too.
Right.
And by the way, Jimmy Garoppolo,
Yeah, he'll be ready.
he'll be ready.
Yeah.
I like the looks of that kid.
Sure.
He's got a great arm.
Yeah, the question is, can he's in the Steve Young mode, right?
Yeah.
And
But he's 6'3", 230, and
but in terms of
he
being
can move.
slotted in behind a legend, just like Steve Young was.
Yeah, absolutely.
And,
Absolutely.
question is, can you keep him here that long? If Brady plays another 4 years,
Yeah.
you probably can't keep
You
him that
probably
long.
can't keep him.
Yeah.
But I would say this to you, based on what I've seen of Garoppolo, is that the Patriots could trade him for a #1 draft choice
a first
in
round
this.
pick.
Yeah,
They
because
could do it this year.
That's right. They could.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
They won't, though.
No, but you know what? It's not a bad idea to think about.
Right.
Yeah.
I think eventually they will.
Yeah, because I mean,
Because I think Brady is going to play another 4
sure.
years.
Oh, I think you're absolutely right. But there are quarterbacks that are cut all the time. These guys have got 10, 12, 14 years in the league.
Yeah.
They're still hanging on. You can sign one of those guys.
Sure.
Yeah. And with the Patriots, you put him in, and he's not going to hurt you.
Ryan Mallett's available.
Moving right along. I thought the Patriots defense, Ninkovich was steady. I thought Hightower played a great game. Wilfork clogged up the middle of the line consistently.
Yeah.
And Darrelle Revis was in the shutdown mode all day until the pick play with the official.
Yeah.
That's the only reception he allowed.
He got used on that one.
Yeah, now was that the umpire or was that
As the back judge, I think.
Okay, back judge. All right.
Yeah.
That had to be because the umpire is back with the referee
Right.
now.
I think so,
behind the
yeah.
line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
Because the umpire was in close behind the linebackers. He was getting killed.
Right.
Yeah, they finally decided that insurance
So I agree with
rates-
you on the defense by and large.
Yeah.
With one question. What the heck happened at the end of the first half? 31 seconds, 80 yards, touchdown Seattle.
Yeah.
I mean, that was one of those things that if that game had gone the other way, which we all know it could have with one play, we would have been talking about
We
that.
would have been talking about
How do
that.
you let him go
Yeah.
81 yards? When the first play was a running play.
Mm-hmm.
And they
I
picked
have-
up 20 yards on the run and said, oh, hey. Then Russell Wilson rolled out and he ran for another 20 yards, leaving Jamie Collins in the dust.
Yeah.
And so when you look at the end of the first half and the end of the game, even though it was led by another one of those crazy catches that seemed to happen to us in the fourth quarter of Super Bowls. Yeah. But and then you have those two things, and then beyond that, the defense was outstanding.
Yeah.
Outstanding.
Yeah. I thought it was. Yeah. I thought they really played well, and I thought they played well as a team.
Yeah. Kept Wilson under control.
Yep. I don't even believe I'm going to talk about this for a second. I'll briefly talk about
Okay.
this. Most of the ads at halftime were a lot less than compelling. And if this is the best the admin and marketing people can do, the principals should demand their money back and fire the charlatans.
Yeah, particularly for what they're paying for them,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
Particularly offensive was the Snickers ad with the madman with the axe.
Oh, yeah.
Totally inappropriate.
Yeah.
My God.
But,
and-
you know, and you're an old marketing sales guy.
Yep,
You remembered that ad, didn't you?
I did. Yeah. But I always liked Snickers. I didn't need to be sold. We touched on this. Robert Kraft and Tom Brady showed great class after the game, facing questions from Michelle about the inflation of the footballs. What in the name of heavens was she thinking of? Or, now, did she wing that herself, Gary? Or does she have that kind of ability to wing it herself? Or does she have handlers that fed her those lines?
You know, I don't know the answer to that question, but it certainly makes you wonder.
Really
about
and
that.
truly does.
Yeah.
That took away from a
was terrible.
wonderful day.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
Just a total lack of sense of timing.
Yeah, it was brutal.
Yeah.
Man, if she's not sent to a double-A baseball league someplace to hone her skills,
Right.
it won't be justice.
And I hope she can take Troy Aikman with her.
Yeah, Troy, they'd make a nice couple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, his statement that Deflategate was so much worse than Bountygate.
Now,
When Bountygate, they were literally trying to injure players.
yeah, absolutely.
That was the point.
Absolutely.
The point was to injure players.
Yeah, who gets injured by a deflated
and
football?
if you injure them, you get paid.
Yeah.
And Troy Aikman says that's not as bad as the ball being down a pound of air.
Well, you
I mean,
know
come
what? Troy got a few hits to the old helmet
Apparently.
during his stay down there in Dallas. Just absolutely ridiculous.
Well, I hope
Absolutely.
Michelle can go and take Troy with her.
And Phil Simms.
Okay, a threesome. There we
Yep.
go.
If Brady needs the balls to be underinflated, how did he handle the balls in the Super Bowl?
Well, you know, this whole thing is just ridiculous. So,
What's going to be the outcome, Gary?
you know, the NFL is going to hope it dies down and goes away because
And
they
there'll be a
obviously
report
have
written.
nothing. Right? There'll be a
And-
report
yep.
written.
And it'll just say it was a natural phenomena.
Because I personally, you know, if you don't know what the facts are because
Right.
it's just leak after leak after leak. However, the current leak seems to be that 11 balls were down by a pound, which can be explained by the environmental conditions.
Absolutely.
And that one ball was down by 2 pounds. And that one ball that was down by 2 pounds happened to be the ball that was intercepted and taken to the sideline and handed over to the Colts equipment guy. So I kind of like the conspiracy theory that he was the one who took the extra pound of air out.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you. There is something rotten in Denver.
Yeah.
There really and truly is.
And as has been so typical for the last 2 years, every time there's a problem, the NFL has screwed it up.
Absolutely.
Do they have any sense of problem management, crisis management in that?
No.
And this is from a guy that makes, what does he make, $30 million a year to be the commissioner?
More than that, I think.
Right.
I think it's around $43 million.
And this kind of management is what they're paying for. I don't see Rodgers being very long for this job.
Wait to see the next paragraph after this one. Chris Collingsworth proved once again why he is the best color analyst among all football commentators.
Right.
A very worthy successor
pretty
to
good.
John Madden, who is the gold standard. The play-by-play announcer, Al Michaels, and the other commentator, Bob Costas, should really be named Bland and Blander.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. And Costas is very easy to dislike.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
It's been around a long
yeah,
time.
boy, I'll tell you, you've got to find somebody that can do a better job. Now, I don't think the play-by-play announcer should be colorful, witty, tell jokes. The greatest play-by-play announcer of all times was Ray Scott that used to do the Green Bay Packers game.
Yeah, I remember Ray
Super
Scott,
Bowl.
sure.
Yeah. Star, back to throw, McGee, touchdown.
Very descriptive.
Do you watch any Premier League
No,
soccer?
not really. No. No, I can't
It's
say as I
on
do.
Saturdays and Sunday mornings.
I've seen it there,
live
yeah.
from England. You ought to listen to those announcers. The ball is kicked around, and it's Anderson, Smith, Scott, as the ball travels, player
Yeah.
to player. There's not a whole bunch of, like,
You don't need them to tell you that they're kicking it.
exactly
Right.
right. You know, and this is what drives me absolutely bonkers about the Bruins. What's his face there, the play-by-play announcer?
Oh, Jack?
Jack
Edwards.
Jack
yeah.
Edwards. You know, you can
Over-announces.
see the play.
He over-announces, yeah.
And then and Chara drives him through the boards. Yeah, right. The boards are still intact. How's that happen? Roger Goodell, the commissioner of the NFL, has not had a good year.
No.
And the pressure is showing. He has the deer in the headlights look at times, and to call him crisp in his manner and resolute in his actions would be quite a stretch. He has seemingly circled his wagons as the haters attack. It is not a pretty picture.
No, it's time for Roger to go.
I really and truly believe you're absolutely right, but you know they're not going to do it.
I'm not so sure about that.
You think, well,
They need to clear the decks, make sure that all those problems land on his shoulders,
yep.
and then I think he'll go.
You know, I think that he's got a contract, and I think that you're absolutely right. They need to pilot all on him.
Yeah.
And then he has got to come clean and say, I've done a poor job as
Right.
commissioner. This is a wonderful game, and for the good of the game, I'm stepping aside.
Right. And then he'll take the $50 million check under the table and go live happily ever
Now
after.
you're talking, he'll be well compensated.
Could become an ESPN commentator.
I think he'll probably go back into corporate law.
So who do they bring in?
Well, now, it's got to be someone of his ilk, because this is a major business.
Yeah.
Dullards need not apply.
I'm a Condoleezza Rice fan.
Condi Rice
said in the past she'd like to do
She'd be
it.
great, and she's smart enough to
So-
do it. I mean, you can't find somebody like Terry Bradshaw.
No.
I mean, an ex-jock. So it's got to be someone very high profile, proven
High
track record,
prestige. Yeah.
and that has the ability to deal with people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She would be my choice.
she would, and that's a dandy choice.
Yeah.
I'm moving you to the head of the class. Julian Benbow's column in the Globe about Russell Wilson revealed a couple of great quotes from this young man. His father had one question he forced his son to contemplate. Who are you when you peel back the layers?
Interesting.
Yeah. And he banged that into the kid's head. He also banged into the kid's head that his foundation was in God first. That's where everything starts. From there, it's family and then sports. And Russell said, I'd probably say family, then education and sports. In other words, he inserted education in there too ahead of
Yeah.
sports. So God, family, education, and then sports. This is a kid that's really got a head on his shoulders.
Yeah, he is an impressive young man. He
Yeah.
really is.
Yeah, I don't think you'll see him down at the Playboy Club dancing with Gronk and the girls.
No, unlikely. Yeah.
Yeah.
He seems very introspective. And,
Yep. Yeah, very articulate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very, very impressed with
I
him.
would be comfortable with him leading my football team.
Boy, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
You know, he's only 5'11".
Yeah. He's a winner, though.
Yeah, but he's a winner. You're
Yeah.
absolutely right. He's got a great arm.
He's a winner.
He is. Well, this is beginning to show you how I've sort of slid downhill mentally here with this next one.
Okay. We can handle it.
The halftime show with Katy Perry
Yeah.
was a ridiculous expenditure of assets. A trio of solos by the beautiful Miss Perry before a microphone would have sufficed, with the extra money saved donated to the Jimmy Fund and St. Jude's Hospital. It would have been a far more decent thing to do. And whatever purpose Lenny Kravitz was to serve will remain a mystery. Any people involved in producing or staging this halftime waste of time should be imprisoned. It's halftime at a football game, for heaven's sakes, not a rock concert for the prepubescent set.
Yeah, the halftime production has become such an extravaganza. It's
To what end?
it's show business. You know,
Does
it's
anybody-
to the end of selling records and
Does anybody...
yeah.
The football game is the spectacle. Do you think that people say, oh, let's see now, it's almost halftime, let's get the game on now so
Well-
we can see the halftime show?
Yeah, I do think there are people.
Really?
Sure, some of them were at my house for my Super Bowl party.
Oh, good
They were
Lord.
very excited about seeing the halftime
Well,
show.
I like Katy Perry.
Yeah,
and
she's
beautiful.
fine.
But, oh, God.
Talented kid. Yeah. Probably sold a whole lot of stuff the next week, though.
You think?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, I don't know. Oh,
She got all the
God.
appearances before, and she was on the pregame show. And
I'd rather have them interview John Madden or something. in
Yeah,
between.
I know.
Something more my
it is
style.
football, right?
Okay, we already discussed the results of the NFL deflated ball investigation. It will be much ado about nothing. Can't prove a thing.
Right.
It's a phenomena. And now they have Sherlock Holmes and Inspector Morse. They've signed them both up to investigate the
Oh,
ball.
good. Now
So-
we'll get somewhere.
Yeah, we're going to really get somewhere. And I'm going to make a prediction.
Okay.
Danny Amendola, previously mentioned as coming to the Patriots and benefiting from adopting the Patriots way, leads into an examination of Brandon LaFell. This is a very talented fellow, very gifted physically, and I am predicting a breakout year next fall for LaFell. He played well this year.
He had a career best year.
He did.
This year. He had his best numbers
Yep.
yet.
But I think there's more for that lad.
I do too.
Yep. And also, ditto on the other side of the ball with linebacker Jamie Collins. You know the sky is the limit for this kid.
Yeah, I agree. But it's a tough game, and I think the team needs depth at
Yeah.
both of those positions. You can't depend. They need another wide receiver.
I
They
agree
need
with you.
depth at linebacker,
Yep.
and I think they can, through the draft.
I agree
and
with you totally.
second-tier free agents.
And guess what? That's going to lead into our next discussion.
Okay.
The land of the free.
Yeah.
There's 15 free agents on the Patriots.
Right.
Now, we'll dismiss Greg Orton, Brian Timms.
Well, I think we'll be back, Brian Timms.
You think? Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be in camp.
Yeah, he does have speed. No
He's
question
gonna-
about
He's
that.
going to be cheap.
And linebackers, Chris White, James Morris. But then we get into players that played a few snaps. So I think the number one signing on offense is going to have to be Dan Connolly.
Yeah.
Not a superstar,
Right.
but an efficient player. And comes to play and is a smart guy. On defense, Devin McCourty, who has, I think, evolved into, I won't say superstar status, but the level below that. I think he's become
Yeah, he's very,
a very, very good. He's a good tackler, too.
McCourty will be back because they have the option to franchise
Yeah.
him.
I think those two guys, well, not
Well, you forgot the big guy, Revis.
Yeah.
To me, Revis is
I'm
number one.
dodging
We have
that
to
one.
sign-
He's under contract.
He's
He's not a
number
free
one.
agent yet.
He's not a free agent, but unless you want a $25 million cap hit, which is going to keep you from signing a couple of those other guys,
Yeah.
you need to deal with him.
I think there's a couple of other guys. Oh, well, James Devlin, who Brady loves him as the fullback and the blocking back in the backfield, will probably get re-signed, and I don't think he's going to cost a whole arm and a
No,
leg.
he should be able to get him.
What do you do with Stephen Ridley?
I think Ridley's going to be back on a short-term deal.
You
because
think? I think it's going to be an incentive.
incentive
laden
I
contract.
think it's going to be a one-year
1 year.
contract. Yeah.
Show me what you can do, and we'll.
And you have the option of going to free agency.
That's right. That's right. It either sets you up for free agency, but you come back here and you rehabilitate yourself, and
Right.
you get a chance to showcase your talents,
Yeah.
and it's going to make you more valuable.
Yeah.
The other kid is Shane Vereen.
Yeah, I think, unfortunately, he'll probably be gone. He had a great Super Bowl.
He had a
Caught
great
11
Super Bowl.
balls.
Yep, and he certainly is a weapon out of the
Yeah.
backfield. He's quick, he's not a burner, but he's quick. He cuts well. But you know what? If there's one commodity that is about a dime a dozen, it's small running backs
Right.
that are tricky, that have got a great first move, and that can function out of the backfield as a pass receiver.
Right.
I don't think they're going to give the store away to Vereen.
They're not.
No.
Somebody will be willing to pay him more, and
I think you're right. One of the have-nots
go get paid.
has got to say, now there's a guy
Right.
that's an upgrade for us.
yeah.
Where the Patriots, he's got the white kid.
Yeah.
Right. He's got a couple of others too that are on and off the taxi squad.
You can find him.
Yeah, you can find them, but they're coming out of. And you know what? There's a lot of them that are free agents that are never going to be drafted.
Right.
But yet they come from smaller colleges, and they get the same moves the kids that go to the University of Mississippi or Alabama have got. They just don't have the publicity.
Right.
I think that Belichick will find them with his
They're out there.
with his buddies
Yep.
in the coaching college coaching ranks.
Yeah.
Now, Akeem Ayers or Ayers,
Yes, yeah.
he gave them depth at linebacker,
Yeah.
and I thought he played well.
He played very well, surprisingly well, and statistically, he played very well.
Yeah.
I was actually the other day looking at Pro Football Focus and their ratings of edge rushers, and he rated incredibly high. I was shocked when I saw the numbers, how highly he rated as
If
an
the
edge rusher.
Patriots decide not to re-sign him, he's not going to have a problem finding a job.
Right.
But I would like to
And
see
they
them.
need depth at that
Yeah.
linebacker
The
position.
next one is Sialva Saliga.
Right.
Now, the
They have
Patriots
an option, though, on him.
love
I think.
him.
Yeah.
Exclusive rights free agents must be offered a contract by the Patriots, or they will become unrestricted free
Right.
agents.
So
Yeah,
they have to tend to him.
the
Yeah.
Patriots love him.
Yeah.
He's sort of like
I thought he played pretty well.
a mini Wilfork. They seem very strong, clogs up, but he's not a big, say, oh, look at the play he made
Yeah.
kind of guy, you know? And Jonathan Casillas,
yeah,
I think he's
he's
probably
gone.
going to scoot. But, he
But you haven't-
came
yeah.
and he filled in,
did
and
the
he
job.
didn't hurt the team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do your job, right?
Do your job.
Right.
That's it. Now,
You forgot one big name.
yeah,
though.
I got it
Stephen
over here on.
Gostkowski.
Oh, Stephen Gostkowski. Yes, I'm
'Cause to
sorry.
me,
Special
he's-
teams.
To me, he's a high priority.
Yeah. Now he's coming off a 4-year, $13 million contract. I think that was. I guess
The high
that's
end.
the high end.
Already, he's in the high end.
And I do not see Bill pulling out his wallet or pulling out
Well, I
Kraft's
know.
wallet and going much higher than that.
And there actually are some good kickers supposedly coming out this year.
You
I'm
know,
not sure if
college
the Florida
kicking-
State kid, that kid from Florida
the
State, have
kid
you
from
seen him
college,
kick?
He can kick. Yeah, yeah.
He's going to step in and be one of the best kickers on day one.
And it could well be with the rookie contracts
Yeah.
that a kicker out of college, while they may have to calm him down, and you may not be as accurate as Gostkowski. Yeah,
I like him though. I mean, because
I do too.
He brings the kickoffs as well.
he brings the kickoffs
He booms.
as well. He's only 31.
Booms those
Keeps
kicks.
himself in great shape.
Yeah.
And he's not dancing at the Playboy Club with
Right.
with.
So 2 or
Gronk
3
either.
years.
Yeah, I think that
You see those playoffs, and not just the Patriots, but all the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
They are so close. They come down to kicking a lot. Now, the Patriots games didn't really come down to kickers this year, but a lot of them do.
They do.
And I'll take Gostkowski making that big kick.
Let me tell you something. I'll take him over anybody else in
Yeah.
the league. I mean, you hate like him to say, well, he's automatic. But boy, he's pretty close.
He's pretty close.
He's pretty close. And Vinatieri
he
can
can-
still kick the ball,
Yep,
too.
yep. So
So-
we'll see.
We'll see.
I would have said most of this same stuff when Vinatieri left.
Now,
and he left,
yeah.
right?
Now, according to the, I hate the talk shows, and I kill myself listening to them, but the story is that Gostkowski loves the Patriots love Gostkowski.
Get it done then.
It is going to get done, yeah. But I don't think he's going to break the bank.
No.
Although $13 million a year, if he just gets a repeat of this contract.
Yeah, he'd be happy with that,
Yeah,
I
I would
think.
think so.
Yeah.
I would think so. Now, the 800-pound gorilla in the room, Revis.
Yeah,
Revis loves the Patriots.
I think so. But don't screw around with this guy.
No, you know. And now, by the way, I read a very interesting column about Jonathan Kraft
Yeah,
in the Globe. And it wasn't in the sports section. It was in, I think, the business section. A full-page deal. He is a financial genius. Very strong businessman. His
Yeah.
father taught him well.
yeah.
And the father now allows the young man a lot of input on finances to the point where he's calling a lot of shots.
Yeah, the team's going to start transitioning to him.
Yeah. Yeah. And he said the other day, we need to get it done with Revis.
Yeah, good. Glad to hear it.
Yeah, glad to hear it is right. I think what they're going to do
They've
is
got the money.
they got the money.
Got the cap space.
I think that we'll see something like 2 years with an option at like $12.5 million a year.
I don't think that'll get it done.
You know,
Nope.
you think he's
If you look at the contracts of Peterson
14.
in Arizona, they're 14, 15 million.
Yeah, I think-
average value, and then
Yeah.
it's how much is
Yeah.
guaranteed, right?
Yeah.
So I think Revis, you're looking at, if you really want to get it done, you're looking at for 60, with
Yeah.
with probably 30 million guaranteed. And you know what? I'd do it.
Yeah, because he's 31.
He's going to be 31. He's going to
Yeah.
play at 31.
Yeah. You have to be. We have to worry about that.
A little bit.
Yeah.
He's extraordinary, though.
He
I
will.
mean,
Oh, well,
you
listen.
look at guys like him.
Yeah.
They play till 35 at
Yeah.
corner.
Yeah.
Mike Haynes,
Yeah.
right? He
Yeah.
was still all pro
Yeah.
at 35.
Well, listen, there have been guys that have played very effectively until 40.
Right.
They names have
No,
been lost
the Lions
to
had
me.
one.
Yeah.
A defensive back. Yeah, I forget. Yeah.
But it is absolutely essential they resign
Yeah.
him. And they've got to, well, obviously this $25 million cap hit, they can't live with that.
Right.
I mean, that'll just decimate the team.
So I think they'll get it done.
I really hope so. The other fellow that is very interesting is Gerard Mayo.
Yeah. Well, he's going to have to restructure, or he's going to be cut.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Yep, you're absolutely right.
He's on the cap at 10.5, I think. I mean, that's just
He's at the cap. It's in here someplace. Mayo's on the books for $22.25 million in base salary over the next 3 seasons. It would be a shock if he's not approached about renegotiating his deal.
he absolutely will be. And if he won't do it, he'll be cut.
Gonzo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Gerard Mayo.
He tackling machine.
He hasn't made it to the midway point of the season the last 2 years.
I know it.
And last year, I think it hurt him. This year, Hightower and Collins compensated. I don't
Well,
think we
they
really
did.
missed them.
They did.
We certainly didn't miss them to the tune of a $10 million
Well,
cap
that's
hit.
exactly right. That's
Right.
exactly right. But he's a fine football player.
Yeah, and I'd like to see him
Yeah.
back and
And you know what?
get his cute daughter at media day. And
That's exactly right. The Brandon Browner.
yeah,
Now, there's some talk, and I heard it on that same program, that Browner may be approached to cut back his deal, renegotiate his deal. You know,
he signed for 2 years, I think, right?
2 more years.
2 more years?
Yeah, he signed a 3-year, $9 million.
Okay.
So
Quite frankly, that is a below market contract for a player.
it is.
So what are you going to approach him to go
Well-
even further below market? I mean,
I don't know. That was just something somebody threw out.
if he ended up, if they cut him and he hit free agency, he'd get at least $6 or $7 million a year.
You think?
Yeah.
Huh.
Because the top corners now are getting anywhere from 10 to 15.
He's not a top corner.
No, that's what I'm
No.
saying. 6 or 7 would be his market, I think. So if you got him at 3,
Yeah.
I'd say that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
I'd be quiet and go talk to Mayo and go talk to Wilfork and
Yeah. Now, Malcolm Butler is signed through 2016, as is
for
Kyle
peanuts.
Arrington.
Yeah. Arrington could be an issue, right? I don't know if you got his number. I think it's 4 1/4 next year, 4.25 or
It's
4
not
and a
in
half.
there.
And that is a fairly big number for a slot corner.
Yeah. Yeah, Logan Ryan and Tavon Wilson, they'll probably have those guys sticking around, I would think.
He'll be in camp anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dominique Easley.
Yeah.
Now, they just, it wasn't an injury. They just said, all right, look, there's no sense in you playing through this. Get healthy.
Right.
Take the year off.
Right.
That's it. They looked at him and I think they must have said to themselves, we don't want him damaging that leg anymore.
No, I think they still like him. And
Yeah, well, his quickness is really.
Yeah.
I mean,
We
even
saw
with
it- we
that,
saw it a couple times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really did. With the kind of key team they had, they said to themselves that we can furlough him
Yeah.
until next year, and if he bounces back and is everything we thought, we get ourselves a number one here.
It's really extraordinary that the Patriots won the Super Bowl with virtually no contribution from last year's draft. Easley was hurt. Garoppolo sitting on the bench. Probably the biggest contributor from the draft was Cameron Fleming.
Well, no,
on the
I think
offensive line.
the center.
Stork. Yeah,
Stork.
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4th round
Yeah,
pick.
and they love him.
They love him. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've watched him on a few
looks good.
games. He looks good.
Florida State kid. Yeah.
Yeah, you learn about football at Florida State.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, or Jimbo sends you.
Yeah.
Yeah, head back home, son. You're
Yeah.
not getting it.
He won the was it the Outland Trophy for centers?
I think
won
he
that,
did, yeah. Yeah.
Senior year.
Yeah,
Which you look at it and say, well, gosh, how the heck did the kid last to the 4th round, right?
that's it exactly. It's not a real glory position.
Yeah.
There's plenty of them around.
4th round is when we took Dan Copen, I think. Though,
That's right.
Out of
Yeah,
BC.
yeah.
So.
So that's a good place to find them.
Yeah.
Josh Boyce and the wide receivers, are they going to hang on to him or?
Yeah, I think he'll. I think those guys are going to be in training
camp.
Him,
Yeah.
Aaron Dobson, both of them.
Yeah.
I still think they like Dobson,
Yeah, but
and maybe he can overcome the injuries, and
boy, I'll tell you, he's brittle.
he is brittle.
Yeah. Looked like there's flashes of talent there.
Right.
Though. Yeah.
Which is intriguing to them, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. They signed Marcus Cannon
Yeah.
to what I thought was kind of a heavy
It
contract
seemed like it.
because he can play all 4 line positions, both
They love
guards
that.
and both tackles, and they love that.
certainly
But-
in a backup
But,
player.
but you know, in that write-up, it doesn't say plays them well.
Right, and he
Yeah,
didn't this year.
and he didn't. You're
Right.
right. I also watched him, and you can get around him.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think he belongs at guard, not tackle. But
you know, and you never know on these contracts.
Oh,
you know, he
absolutely
could just
right.
as easily be cut in training camp.
you're right.
Yeah,
Nate Solder had a great year.
he did. He had some up and downs
Yep.
at points during the year, but certainly in the postseason, the playoffs,
I think
he was very solid.
I think Volma.
As was Volman. They
Yeah.
both were.
They were up and downers, both of them. They're exactly the same, 6'8", 320.
Yeah,
I mean, they're cut out of the same cookie cutter.
yeah.
Um,
They played well in the playoffs,
But
though.
I
they
thought
really
they
did.
played well in the playoffs. Is
That
right.
goes a long way.
Boy, it sure did.
You know, they got to think about Solar, right? I mean, they've got him for one more year,
Yeah.
but at 7.5
Yep.
million,
Yep,
which is probably market value. But
probably, but you have to say to
but-
yourself,
you know, they could potentially extend him and actually lower that, pick
Yeah.
up some more cap space, so they could sign Revis.
yeah. Now, there's all kinds of things that they're going to do like that. Jonas Gray, James White, both are the kind of guys that can catch the ball out of the backfield.
Yeah.
Too. No, maybe they don't have Varian's moves.
No.
And LeGarrette Blount will be back next year.
I think so.
I think so.
But you know, you can get those guys.
You can get those guys, but Blount brings an attitude,
Yeah,
a swagger to the team.
and they like him.
Yeah.
Bill
there's
likes him. It's
no
clear. He talked about him
question.
on Letterman last night, and he clearly likes him.
There's no question.
Yeah.
No question. Well, folks, sad as it may seem, we're coming up to the end of the show. It flew by. With many thanks to our super producer, Katie Woodhams, and our new intern, Kevin Hall, both of which did a dynamite job. In closing, I would like to extend our sympathies to the family of Jack McFeely, who passed away recently. Jack was chairman of the NCTV board and will be missed. And may he rest in peace.
Amen.
Amen. Until next time, it was a pleasure being with you, and we look forward to kicking the old Red Sox around
You
with the
bet.
spring training special the next time we do a show.
Great.
Good night now.
Night.